Leaked iPhone 17 covers indicate precisely how huge camera hump may be on pros. There have been tons of predictions regarding the next phones predicted from Apple before the year is done. Many are thinking Apple is ready to announce an iPhone 17 alongside the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max models, while also unveiling an extremely thin iPhone in order to combat with Samsung's rumored Galaxy S25 Edge. Multiple renderings have surfaced of all the rumored Apple gadgets, giving us an insight as to what we may be able to expect come September when they are slated to be revealed. And now a set of case shots have appeared supporting the prior designs. The pictures were released by leaker Majin Buu on X, and they reportedly show cases for the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17 Pro Max. The cases are all the same with a transparent back and white detailing for MagSafe, very closely duplicating the official transparent case with MagSafe Apple supplies for its current iPhone lineup. The iPhone 17 case has the smallest camera cutout, only slightly larger than the iPhone 16 models, while the case for the iPhone 17 Air, as rumors have been calling the slim device, show a cutout that spans the width of the device, not too dissimilar from Pixel phones, but positioned higher up the rear. It's the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max cases that are likely the most amazing in this leak, however, considering those camera cutouts are clearly not discrete. As we mentioned, they tie in with past drawings, all of which show a camera housing for the iPhone 17 Pro models, changing from a square in the top left corner, like the iPhone 16 Pro models, to a housing that stretches across the whole width. For now, there's nothing to prove these covers are legitimate, but since they do seem to match past predictions about Apple's new iPhones, the design changes planned for this year are getting more and more likely as the months go by. With September several months away, it's feasible things may change, so take these scenarios with a sprinkle of the old salt for now. But if you're thinking becoming Pro, be prepared for some alterations at the same time. Apple is rumored to reveal a new AI-powered battery function that will boost your iPhone's battery life in iOS 19. According to Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, Apple is slated to announce an AI-powered battery management mode for iOS 19. iOS 19 will likely be revealed at WWDC 2025 in June and debut in September with the iPhone 17. Gurman's sources indicate the enhancement will analyze how a person uses their device and make adjustments to conserve energy. Apple will presumably bring this AI technology to market as part of Apple Intelligence, which relates back to code in iOS 18.2 mentioning battery intelligence. While the iPhone currently has certain machine learning capabilities that assist increased battery life, such as low power mode and optimum charging, this new AI function is supposed to continually evaluate how a smartphone is used and make on-the-fly choices to boost battery. Gurman adds, the company is using battery data it has collected from users' devices to understand trends and make predictions for when it should lower the power draw of certain applications or features. Why now? According to the source, Apple is going to add these Apple Intelligence-powered battery capabilities into the mix in order to enhance the run life of the anticipated iPhone 17 Air. According to sources, the iPhone 17 Air is likely to be remarkably thin, although owing to its slimmer design would lack battery capacity. By introducing an AI-powered battery tool, Apple will be able to counteract some of the limitations of the slimmer design, allowing for prolonged performance despite a thinner chassis. Gurman claims that the Apple Intelligence feature will be accessible for all iPhones that have iOS 19, meaning users of the iPhone 16 series of smartphones, as well as certain earlier iPhones, will also enjoy the advantages. While Gurman has a solid track record of disclosing future Apple devices and software early, we'll need to wait until next month at Worldwide Development Conference to receive a full picture of iOS 19 and all it has to offer, including an AI-powered battery utility, as well as a whole makeover. Next, Apple's iOS 19 upgrade will be one of the largest in years and include a new design, enhanced AI, and privacy enhancements. As excitement rises for its imminent announcement, here's all you need to know about iOS 19's release timetable, headline features, and devices supported catering to those who want the wider picture in simple British English. Apple maintains a consistent annual timeline for major iOS updates, and iOS 19 is no exception. The upgrade will be revealed during the Worldwide Developers Conference on June 9, 2025. The initial developer beta will strike shortly after the keynote, with a public test arriving in July. The stable release of iOS 19 is scheduled on or after mid-September 2025, alongside the iPhone 17. Apple has been renowned for keeping older hardware in its upgrade cycle for many years, but with iOS 19, this is all set to change. Many of the 2018 models, notably the iPhone XR, iPhone XS, and XS Max, are approaching near being retired by Apple support. This implies that iPhones with A12 Bionic CPUs will cease getting important upgrades. The US and China may have signed a trade deal over the weekend, but you could still wind up paying extra for a new iPhone when Apple's iPhone 17 models launch this autumn. That's the word from the Wall Street Journal, which says that Apple is evaluating whether to charge extra for the new phones it has coming out later this year. And if those costs go up, the article says, Apple is going to search for methods to justify why you're paying more than you would have for one of Apple's existing phones. The reason appears to be tariffs, although Apple will be seeking to avoid criticizing them publicly. Even with this weekend's accord scaling down the retaliatory levies the US and China have levied upon each other, a 20% tax on products imported from China that includes cell phones remains in place. Why will iPhone 17 pricing go up? That creates a dilemma for Apple. The business has transferred some manufacturing to nations like India that aren't suffering the same tariffs imposed on China. In its most recent earnings report, CDO Tim Cook claimed that the bulk of iPhones sold in the June quarter would be coming from India. But the Wall Street Journal reports that majority of Apple's Pro models still originate from China. And those are the best-selling models in Apple's portfolio. In the same earnings call, Cook stated that Apple anticipated absorbing $900 million in extra expenses for the current quarter owing to tariffs, but didn't give guidance beyond that. Still, if tariffs do end up boosting the cost of iPhones in the autumn, the journal says Apple will hunt for a public-facing rationale that doesn't include tariffs. The reason, the journal argues, is that Apple concerns about falling afoul of the Trump administration should it relate increased costs to the president's policies. The story highlights the criticism Amazon experienced last month when a report indicated that the store intended to reveal pricing hikes due by increased levies. In perhaps related news, Bloomberg is reporting that President Donald Trump indicated today, May 12, that he talked with Tim Cook. However, it's unclear whether the discussion concerned iPhone 17 price or tariffs. Instead, Trump highlighted Apple's commitment to invest more than $500 billion over the next 4 years to increase its US footprint. How Apple will explain for any prospective price rises is uncertain. However, it appears the most probable reason is attributing it to new features. The iPhone 17 is believed to include an updated display with a quicker refresh rate, while the iPhone 17 Pro versions are rumored to gain better cameras, notably the telephoto lens. Then there's the chance of the iPhone 17 Air, a new ultra-thin model that's in line to replace the $899 iPhone 16 Plus as part of Apple's portfolio. While some speculations have predicted a comparable price to the Plus, it's likely the Air might cost substantially more, driving up the costs of the Pro versions as a consequence. For months, experts, insiders, and self-proclaimed leakers have been predicting that Apple is preparing to introduce an extremely distinctive smartphone in September 2025. According to insiders, the putative iPhone 17 Air won't stand out for its camera, processor, or display. As the name implies, it will instead have an exceedingly thin shell. It will purportedly be only 5.5 millimeters thick, but this seems to be causing issues for Apple, as the information notes. To fix this, the company is believed to be releasing a similar cover with the iPhone. Contrary to what one might suppose, the principal objective isn't to shield the case from trouble. Instead, the focus is on battery life. According to the story, Apple's internal studies found that only 60 to 70% of consumers can use their iPhone for a day without having to recharge it. For certain models, the figure is reported to be between 80 and 90%. The logic is obvious. The slender design makes the room for the battery manageable. There's a conflict at the root of phone design. Buyers demand faster phones in smaller frames. Nevertheless, the speedier the phone, the hotter the CPU gets. You want to keep the heat away from the owner for obvious reasons, which is tough with a thin frame. Clever engineering has usually kept this problem undetectable to customers, even in the best phones with their powerful chipsets. Now, it seems like Apple plans to adopt a technology utilized in high-end Android smartphones to keep its forthcoming iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max devices cool under strain. A recent Weibo post from the leaker Instant Digital indicates that both iPhone 17 Pro variants would utilize vapor chamber cooling to cope with the power of the A19 Pro chip, rather than the typical heat sinks used in current models. With A19 Pro's stronger thermal management, high load and high performance basically do not reduce frequency, a machine translation of his message concluded. In other words, while present models artificially limit their speed when things grow too hot, something known as throttling, the new phone's vapor cooling should eliminate the need for that, thus allowing you higher performance. If you're unfamiliar, my colleague Josh Render, who used to be a phone engineer, explains how vapor chambers function here. The figure above showcasing Xiaomi's technique provides you an insight. In summary, a sealed chamber sits on top of the chip which contains a liquid. When the processor gets heated, the liquid converts into vapor, where it evaporates to another area of the chamber, transporting the heat away from the chip. As it cools, it condenses and returns to its original place, ready to start the process all over again. It isn't the first time we've heard reports of Apple adopting vapor chamber cooling. Back in 2021, the analyst Ming-Chi Kuo projected that Apple would be aggressively testing the technology, and more recently another Chinese source claimed the upgrade was in the works, but for all iPhone 17 models. Kuo, however, stepped up again last year to estimate the cooling technology would only arrive with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. The fact that the iPhone 17 Air is missing from both Kuo's last article and today's prediction is a little concerning. The next ultra-thin handset's expected 5.5mm footprint suggests that you're more prone to experience a gadget overheating than ever before. But it's feasible it may employ a less powerful CPU to counteract. Or maybe Apple may slow the CPU in the iPhone 17 Air to minimize overheating. The iPhone 17 range isn't anticipated to launch until September. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to press that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates. See you in my next video. Goodbye and peace out.